Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, is supported by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code CLUB at 22. Your balls will thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to Penalty for Rangers. Club reaction to Hibs 0, Rangers 1 here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am your host Scott Carney and joining me is Ali Pearson, who had the team right and the score prediction correct. But I bet you didn't see the game going like that, mate.
No, I'll tell you what, my heart's still going like the clappers at the moment. I had to have a couple of beers during that to try and compose myself, and I do apologise to all my neighbours because I was going loud in my flat tonight, shouting everything, but that's, I know we'll get into the game, lads, but that's a massive, massive 3 points tonight.
Yeah, that's a huge 3 points. Obviously, people know, Ali, that you're quite a calm man anyway, so not. Scotia, how's it going, mate?
I'm good. That last 6 minutes of that game there changes the whole complexion, I think, of how this podcast is going to be tonight. Because it was just to be fair up until that point, I think. So really pleased with it. And yeah, like Ali says, it's because we've got this game, and I think the next couple of games are ahead when Celtic play. It just keeps up the pressure, keeps us top. You know, we don't want to be dropping daft points. So delighted with the victory tonight.
Yeah, I would be lying if I sit here and say that I enjoyed the first 85 minutes of that game, because I did not. It was not an enjoyable experience and by no means a classic, but Rangers have got out of there with 3 points and I am over the moon delighted with it. I really am. I'm very excited. Even that the missus was celebrating with me there when Rangers scored. So yes, I'm very happy about that. So yeah, before we get started, Club at 22 is supported by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Go to manscaped.com, use the code Club at 22, you'll get 20% off and free shipping. Your balls will definitely thank you. And please like the videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So into the football, gentlemen. Starting 11, one change from the win against Livy, with Davis coming in for Arfield. So McGregor, Tav, Goldson, Bassey, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Aribo, Kent, Hadji and Morelos. The bench was McLaughlin, Patterson, Lundstrom, Arfield, Wright, Sakala and Roofe. No Ryan Jack. Gio did say in his pre-match he's maybe just taking their time with him. I think I don't really know how much we can really read into it, but it was good to see Roofe back, and by God was he important. Scotia, you got the team right. Not quite your score prediction, so obviously no shock for you in the team.
No, it's what I expected. I think because obviously Gio had been at the game at Hampden and seen how Hibs were playing there, I think he maybe expected to go a bit differently. But in terms of the teams, I think when you look back at that game, your team selection that you picked would have probably been the ideal one for the game, as the way it went. But I know shots.
Yeah, Scotia, I always like when people suck up to the boss. No, look. The team, it wasn't really a shock to me. You can completely understand why Gio went for it. Ali, obviously you've got the team correct, so no great shocks in it for you either. But we'll jump into the game and see the first 5 minutes of that game, Ali. We looked sharp. We looked quicker than Hibs. We were snapping passes. We were quick, and I thought, we look right up for this.
Yeah, we come out. To be fair, under Gio, we have come out the blocks in these games quick. If you look at the last two games, especially Livingston, with it going 2-0 up, and again we looked bright and sharp. And I thought we would. To be fair, we all Hibs won after that Hampden hoodoo, if you want to call it. Hibs haven't been in a great run, but like I said, you can throw that right out the window because always raised their game against us. And I was after 5-10 minutes, I thought, oh no, we're playing well here, and I could see a goal coming, but. Obviously, I'll come on to what happened in that first half.
Yeah, they very quickly changed. Very, very quickly changed. I will give a massive shout out to the travelling away support. The atmosphere was incredible for the first 15 minutes or so. It was really, really good. And it was kind of adding to the game as well. I felt, Scotia, do you not think it felt like a big game?
Aye, no, it did. Because you see, it's one of these games. You look at the home crowd, and it's all empty seats everywhere. But the Rangers said, I mean, the Rangers away fans, I don't really go to away games, but the away travelling support that we've got is absolutely tremendous, and they make the atmosphere, particularly for games that are on the telly. Because if someone down in England's watching that and there wasn't an away support, they would just look at it and laugh. Probably still do, but yeah, our away support really make up for that. So yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah, I actually thought the same. Yeah, I actually thought the same thing, mate. When I was watching, I thought, God, if England's watching this sounds brilliant. It really did, and yeah, and following into the game, I think McGregor was even a wee bit pumped up, handling it down on 8 minutes, and players were calling for him to kick it out the park. McGregor come running out his goal, screaming that we shouldn't have kicked the ball out the park, but Beaton did stop the play. But Allen, you've got to love him. Goldson's called into action for the first time on 10 minutes with Boyle breaking down the right channel. He does well to stand up and defend it, and he does manage to win the goal kick. Rangers first break up the pitch. It leads with a kind of cross shot by Davis, but it was turned round the post by the Hibs keeper. Obviously, we were then witness to the Porteous and Morelos 5-10 minutes where they decide that they're going to stop concentrating in football and just concentrate on each other. Ali, I think this affects Morelos when he does things like this. Don't concentrate on the player, concentrate on the game.
Yeah. He's a fanny, Porteous, to be polite about it. and well, that's being polite. No, that's what he is.
Lighter than that, the word I used.
Well, yeah, I used worse words than that, Scotia, but he was... you could see what Porteous was up to. And I'd actually like to give a bit of credit to John Cheating Beaton, because he went to put up to Porteous and went, I know what you're all about here. He knew exactly what Porteous was up to, and he said to Porteous, go on with the game, because Porteous was deliberately trying to get Morelos booked all the time. And we know what Alfie's like. He can get suckered into these moments with players a lot of the time. And to be fair to John Beaton, we don't really give credit to referees a lot of the time because they're woeful. He saw right through Porteous and knew what he was up to, but that's what Porteous is all about. I mean, how many times do we see it with Porteous? He's an idiot. Like I said, he's a fanny. That's what he is. And it could have happened to a better guy. You'll come on to how the penalty happened, but it could have happened to a better guy. And fuck him.
Very dignified, Ali. Scotia, but do you agree though, when Morelos gets sucked into this, it takes away from his game, because you shouldn't be getting dragged into things, especially with players like Porteous. Let's be honest, he's the definition of a hammer thrower. He really is.
Yeah, I mean, give credit to Morelos though, because it was only for a wee small period that Morelos was affected. And I thought it was pretty good in that first half. He was up all right in the first half, but a lot better than he was on Sunday. So it was only that wee period, whereas you've seen it in the past when he was up against, was it Mulgrew and Considine, players like that he's been up against. It just affects him for the whole game, but it was just that wee small period that I think it affected him, and he managed to snap out of it. Thankfully, Porteous didn't, because he's just I'll use the word that Ali used, fanny. Yeah, don't want to get too expletive here.
No, I know. But the first 20 minutes, there was no real clear-cut chance for any team, really. Kent wasn't really in the game. Davis did not start well at all, and nor had Barisic. Barisic had about 3 or 4 loose passes. But again, it's not helped by the way Hibs approach games. Look, it's what Hibs do. We all know that. As soon as Rangers try to play football, you get niggly wee fouls, you get persistent fouls, and it happens throughout the game. I will come on to rant about that a wee bit later on, especially one player. Aribo gets a half chance with a header from a free kick, but it goes well wide. In 33 minutes, I move on to Rangers start playing a bit, kind of getting away from the attempt of the Hibs players constantly trying to foul. Leads to a corner, but the header from Goldson is straight to the keeper. Hadji then goes close after good work from Alfie on the break, but it's deflected just wide from a corner. Really unlucky with that one, to be honest. But Ali, there was no real end product coming from any team, and it was becoming pretty frustrating to watch.
Yeah, there was a lack of quality for both teams. The final third, just wasn't there. That last touch, that final ball, it just wasn't coming off. And you could see that it just got in 0-0 at half time. It was see, as a neutral watching that first half especially, they probably would have turned it off, because it was a very poor game of football, and a lot of slack passing for both teams. Wasn't it great? It just lacked quality. And I was thinking, who do you bring on and for half time? That's where I thought an Arfield for Davis. I just thought Davis and Kamara at times. I thought Kamara had a good game, but I just thought at times it was too neat and tidy, too safe at times, rather than a Scott Arfield who we've seen at the weekend who'll break the lines. I just thought it was crying out for something like that.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. Scotia, your thoughts on that? And also, I need to stop saying this because it's getting old, but defender at heart. I was having real concerns with Barisic defensively. I think twice down their right-hand side, he just failed to stop a cross, failed to get out to his man. And I reckon Alan McGregor's going to have a pretty sore throat from shouting at him. And I think Bonner's going to have sore ears from listening to him.
It always seems to be the left back that McGregor targets, doesn't it? I mean, poor Papac's got it tight enough back in the day. To be honest, Barisic has always been slightly poor at defending crosses like that, and I don't think he was overly poor today, Barisic. I think he's actually, the last couple of games, I don't think Barisic has been anywhere near as poor as he was earlier in the season. So I just think Barisic has always been like that for me, that he can occasionally let those crosses go in. But in terms of what you were speaking of...
Sorry, Scotia. Do you think that's because Bassey's playing that left-sided centre-half, and because he's more of a natural left-back, he's coming across to help Barisic at times, which helps Barisic? I've noticed in the last few games, Bassey's been kind of coming closer to Barisic, if you know what I mean, to help him out at times. Yeah,
but I think that's maybe just Bassey drifting into where he normally positions himself rather than anything conscious, if I'm being honest. But you might be right, but I think it is probably just down to the fact that Bassey's maybe just forgetting that he's playing at left centre half, to be honest, because I did notice that in the Sparta game, that right away the first couple of minutes of the Sparta game, he was playing almost as a left back at times. Yeah, but on the possession, losing the possession thing in the game, it was constant from both teams. The ball just kept on getting turned over by each team that was going in the attack. And like Ali was saying, it was poor passes. It wasn't winning the second balls. It was Hibs getting there, particularly for us, sort of later on in the half. It was Hibs getting in there first and getting to the ball and winning it back. And it was just slack at times. And it was frustrating to watch, really frustrating.
Yeah, really frustrating. Just when you think something's about to happen, the final ball from us would just be poor, and we're just a yard off. And I think Alfie headed the ball out at one point, Hadji passed the ball out at one point, and I'm just like, well, it's just not clicking. And you start to get that worry of, oh God, we're not clicking tonight. And you think it's going to lead on. Obviously, it hasn't, but it was just a really poor half of football. 43 minutes, the best chance of the half by an absolute mile. Good break from Rangers. With Aribo picking out pretty much a perfect cross to Morelos, who's alone, unchallenged in the box. But he gets the header all wrong. For me, Ali, this has to be a goal.
He's got to score. He's got to score, Morelos. It was good work. I don't know, was it Taff? I think they played it down to Aribo, I think. And Aribo it was a great ball for Aribo. Just to flick that ball onto Morelos.
It was Kemar.
Was it Kemar that played it down to Haribo? Yeah. But it was a great ball for Haribo to find Morelos there, and I mean he's got acres of room to put that in the back of the net, Morelos, and that's Morelos for you. I think we had a discussion at half time, Carney, on Twitter in terms of when Morelos has got too much time to think about something, usually makes an arse of it, and that's usually the truth about it. And yeah, but he's got to score. If that's a Kemar Roofe, it's a goal. But it's he's got to do better than that, Morelos. But we've grown to know with Morelos over the last 4 or 5 years, just that's what Morelos is, to be honest.
Yeah, possibly, but Scotia was still mightily pissed off that he made an arse of it.
Yeah, I've seen him doing this before. Because he does brilliantly. He makes the run, times his run brilliantly, finds the space, and then the one thing that he's meant to do, he doesn't do. But as I say, I've seen him do that previously, and it is like Ali says, it's a Kenny Miller-esque, and he's got too much time to think about it. It ends up being, going wide or not making contact with it. So he needs to score. I was almost off my seat when it came to him, and then just gutted that it didn't win. Yes, straight away it was like, oh no, and that's how that whole half kind of felt. It was like you're excited, and then it's like, oh no, not good enough.
Yeah, you were. I just say it was one of them. It was like a nearly half of football. It was like we nearly had chances. They nearly had chances, but I mean, really, no keeper did anything that first half. Arguably for the entire game, to be completely honest. But Morelos has to score that for me. He has to, and it would have made it a lot better at half time. I mean, you jumped onto Twitter to try Twitter Spaces for the first time at half time. It's quite good, wasn't it?
I was quite enjoyable, fair. Bit of interaction from Club at 22. People we were discussing what we just discussed there in terms of Morelos, and the guy was discussing Barisic as well. He was a bit, in terms of Barisic, hasn't been playing great, so that was actually quite good on the Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing that again.
I think we definitely will do that again, and when we can, obviously at half time, just to jump on there for 10 minutes or so and just have a chat, get people to interact with us. But it was enjoyable. So yeah, half time, nothing each. We'll go into the second half. Goldson, I don't know what's going on with Connor Goldson right now. It can do good things and he can do bad things. The amount of poor passes he had tonight was shocking. I mean, honestly shocking. But this one in particular, he should just deal with the ball, and he doesn't. He lets Hibs get in, and it allows them to nearly get a shot on target. It is well blocked, but I was hoping it wasn't sign for things to come. Kent then fires a shot wide after latching onto a loose pass from Hibs, and almost a carbon copy after that. Nisbet loses the ball again. But we just fail to take opportunity with the break, and because Kent's final ball to Aribo was about 5 yards off. It's not even close to it, to be honest. Hibs should probably have taken the lead at this point. Poor defending from a throw-in for Rangers, especially from Barisic and Kent, just kind of sleeping really. Ball was fired across the face of the goal, and somehow Goldson turns the ball away, and it's just over the kind of path. And Nisbet, this is what I mean. That is an unbelievable clearance by Connor Goldson, but for some moments he just lapses into a bit of a bomb scare.
I don't know what it is, because I keep saying he was my player of the year last season. And he's a good passer of the ball, Goldson. He is a good passer of the ball, but his passing tonight at times was diabolical. I mean, he was playing stupid balls, and it was Hibs were breaking from his balls all the time. And there was one you were on about there down when he was kind of fanning about there. I just got rid of it and lost it. But that one you're talking about there, I mean, Barisic and Kent were completely napping that, boys, and it should be a goal. And somehow Goldson, you've got to give him credit for it, deals with it and gets rid of it. And we've seen two sides of Goldson tonight. I thought he was really good at times, Goldson, and then really shit at times as well, Goldson. So it's he's definitely not a man of the match tonight anyway, but he'll know tonight himself. I just thought his passing was terrible, to say the least. There was no Hollywoods from him either that came off, I can't remember, but his general passing was poor. Not just him alone, there was other players as well, but him especially, his passing was poor, especially that second half.
Yeah, Scotia, we can be critical enough, but you have to praise this clearance. It is literally, he's saved Hibs from scoring there.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And in the second half, I thought defensively, Connor Goldson was brilliant when he needed to be. But like Ali, his passing was really poor. And you've got to remember as well, he was on that yellow card for Nisbet. It's right. Sort of sailed him in the first half. It was that was a bit poor defensively. But other than that, I thought he was pretty solid defensively. But it was the balls, passing the ball out from defence was really poor, which we don't really expect from Goldson. And then, whatever he was doing, when that ball was down there in their left wing or right back position, that should be getting passed straight back to McGregor rather than trying to watch it, and it just takes a weird bounce. But he wasn't that nick he makes was absolutely brilliant. And then it's one of these ones. See, even if it goes in off of him, you can't really blame him for attempting it, but he managed to get it perfect. So it was really good.
Yeah, really good. We then have the battle of the smoke bombs. I'm not really sure where to go with that one. Although Andy Walker was trying his best to try and make out that a Rangers fan had tried to launch it at their keeper. So I'll give Andy Walker his credit there. Obviously, Hibs can throw whatever they want onto a park. It doesn't matter. But as soon as a Rangers fan does it, it's a player's safety. So thank you for that, Andy, you wet wipe. And then we're on to pretty much 60 minutes. Very much of the same as the first half. I think Kenton is a a great strike blocked by the head of Porteous, who dives in front of his keeper. It's the first real chance for Rangers in this half, and then the changes happen. Davis and Morelos come off, and Arfield and the returning Roofe come on. I'll come to you about Steve Davis today. Obviously, he's got so much credit in the bank, but what summed up his afternoon was the last bit of play that he had when we were breaking forward. He tried to pass it to Aribo, and he passed behind Aribo, and it was too far in front of Kent, and it was just an absolute waste of a pass.
Yeah, he was. I wouldn't say he was bad tonight, Davis. His general tidying up the play and knocking about was all right, but when we were breaking at times, the final ball was terrible. I mean, that one in the first half where he kind of shoots crosses, whatever that was poor. And then the one break in the second half, and yeah, again, goes to kind of nobody, to be honest. He wasn't great tonight, Davis, and you may see him for Saturday, drop to the bench, possibly. Obviously, we'll probably come on to that in a later show, but yeah. Well, but I don't think he was terrible, Davis. I thought he was neat and tidy, Davis. It's just the final ball, but you could say that with a lot of guys tonight. The final ball just wasn't there. But no, that's why I said beginning of the second half, I would have taken Davis off and put Arfield on, because I just thought he just offers that offensive side, because Kemara's sitting there kind of doing that job. So wasn't great for Davis tonight, but like you say, he's got a lot of credit in the bank, so I'm not going to bash him at all.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not bashing them too much. It just, we've said about Morelos.
He was frustrating.
Yeah, said about Morelos the past couple of games. It was just one of those games for him, and I suppose it was maybe that for Davis as well. Scotia is the argument in there that consistency would be a good thing for him.
I don't know. It's one of these ones where you don't know whether is it good consistency wise, or does he need that break given his age? I know we keep on saying it about his age, which is maybe a bit unfair, but it's one of these ones. And as well, there's at times we don't need him. You know, obviously when Arfield was playing on Sunday there, that was the right formation for that game, I think. And I think on the outset of this game, the formation that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst picked and the team selection he picked was correct for the game, like given the stuff that he would have seen in the past. But the way it panned out, it probably wasn't the best formation for him. So I think we'll see Davis sort of in and out the team at times, because if you think about it, we've got Jack, Kemar, Lundstrom and Davis all sitting there that can all play the kind of very similar role at times. So I think there will be a wee bit of switching about, unless Gio gets into other people like Jack or Kemar to start being a bit more forward thinking.
Yeah. So obviously, about Arfield and Roofe coming on, it changes the way Rangers are obviously going to play. I think you could immediately see that Rangers were going to be much more attacking. Arfield was very high up the pitch. He was almost a supporting striker to Roofe, it looked like. But even when we were winning the ball in the midfield, it was too tight. Hibs were making it too tight. And I suppose that's a wee bit of praise that's got to go towards Hibs as well. Their midfielders did really well, and their wide players did really well to stop us getting anything going. But my frustration levels were certainly rising. Kent then has an effort again from, I think, probably the first time in the game that Kemar takes a bit of a run forward. But as I said, you could see that Arfield and Roofe were much higher up the pitch. Hibs had a decent chance, but the player cuts across it and puts it wide. Bornat again gets an earful from McGregor for not closing the ball down. And persistent fouling from Hibs continues. Beaton didn't book Newell, especially, who was, I think he was up to 5. I think I counted 5. I stopped counting in the last kind of 10 minutes, but Newell had 5 fouls and Beaton didn't book him for it. So consistency, do you know what I mean? And it just doesn't happen, because it's okay, you're playing against Rangers, so it doesn't matter. Just have to call this stuff out, because Beaton's a shocking referee, and he's probably been all right tonight, but he's still a shocking referee. So we're into the last 15 minutes. Aribo does so well to create a bit of space in the box, but the shot with his right foot is into the side netting. Hibs were about a back 8 at this point. Ali, Aribo tonight, you can't lack his effort. I suppose you can't even lack most of the team's effort, to be honest. I think they all were trying, but certain things just weren't clicking for him tonight as well.
Who was that there? My Wi-Fi just... Well, I guess you said that name.
Aribo.
Oh, Aribo, sorry. Yeah, I thought him and Kent, the two of them, it was a very similar game tonight in terms of that final bit just wasn't clicking, but The thing with Aribo is he keeps trying Aribo. And there was times in the first half where Hibs midfield were getting wired right into him and he was giving it back, Aribo. I've noticed that this season with Aribo. He's bulked up. He's more aggressive, if you want to say, in the midfield now. But it just wasn't coming off for him at times, Aribo. But you could say that with most of our forward line. Hadji, Kent again was trying his hardest, but again it wasn't coming off. I just think it was possibly one of their games, to be honest. And got to give Hibs credit. Hibs are a good team. Where Hibs sit in the league, they shouldn't be where they're sitting in the league, Hibs. See if Hibs played how they play against us every week, they'd be challenging with Celtic for second place. They really would, but they're not. They're inconsistent. But no, in terms of Aribo, just one of their games. But Aribo's been fantastic for us this season. He's been our player of the year so far, Aribo. So yeah, I thought he was decent, Aribo, but just wasn't coming off. It was too many touches at times.
Yeah, it's not often you see Scotia the same thing happening to kind of every player at the same time. Where Kent showed real moments tonight where he was great down the left-hand side, same as Aribo. Aribo had wee bits that he was doing, but just the kind of final pass or the final shot just wasn't coming off.
Yeah, what Ali says there about Kent and Aribo having very similar games, I would agree. I think in the first half, thought Aribo was brilliant. Up until about 60 minutes, Aribo was pretty good. Kent was absolutely woeful, I thought, up until that point. And then come the 60-minute mark, when just before the subs get made and they had that shot, then Kent starts playing really well and Aribo fell right off it after that for me. So yeah, it was a weird game. Wasn't it? Really strange the way that it was very similar for both of them in that respect.
Yeah, it was a very strange game. And then kind of in the last 10, poor passing from Rangers, I've just got written down because every time we were getting the possession of the ball, we were giving it away. And then Hibs were doing exactly the same thing. It was just like a game of hot potato. Nobody really wanted the ball. Arfield had a shot from distance. It was the only thing that really had on for him, but it was great work from Kemar Roofe to kind of send him on his way through the middle. And then the three words that you absolutely love to hear, and the three words that were required for Rangers to score a goal today. Porteous brings down Kent because he is a terrible defender and he's never a footballer in a million years. Roofe steps up and calmly puts it away. I certainly was not calm, Ali. I was fucking delighted.
I was going tonto in my flat at this point. I think the whole of my neighbourhood could hear me exactly. So, and I don't give a monkeys, to be honest. But Kent, that last 15, 20 minutes, Kent was terrorising them a bit down that wing. There was the ones just before it where he somehow ghosted by two players and was unlucky with a shot, but he's Porteous. He's absolute. That's why that Porteous is what he is. A diddy. He sold him, and he puts the leg out, catches him, beaten, has a long look at it. He doesn't give it straight away. He has a think, and fair play to him. He gives a penalty, and Kemar Roofe steps up. And I've got the fear of Kemar Roofe because he does that silly run up. It's like Jorginho with Chelsea when he does that kind of hop, skip, and a jump. I'm not a fan of that, but to be fair to Kemar Roofe, he sends the keeper the wrong way, and it's 1-0 to Rangers. And at that point, as I text you lads, it was, can we see this out?
I think what he actually messaged Scotia was, the best we're getting is a draw today. That
was before all this.
Sorry.
You would say the exact same thing at that point, if you've been honest.
Yeah, probably. Scotia.
Sorry, I was laughing at something else there. The Rangers store have just sent me an email through to celebrate the win over Hibernian. 15% off everything.
Of course they have. Of course they have. But Scotia, honestly, when we scored the penalty, I thought, no, we've done it now.
Yeah, thought so. I was like Ali, I don't like when they stop to run up. I think they do it just to stop to see what way the keeper's going. But I'd rather just someone runs up and goes right through it. It's weird how you have these mad wee things that you don't like about penalties. I've always been a bit iffy about left footers taking penalties as well for no apparent reason, but I don't know why. I didn't like that. But yeah, when he knocks it away, yeah, we've got the result we needed. It was a big sigh of relief. And as I say, my kind of mindset coming into the pod for doing tonight, sorry, those 6 minutes before the full-time whistle, would have been completely different to what it is now, because I would have been a door-faced bastard.
Same, mate. I would have been bloody miserable if we'd have dropped points at Hibs. I really would have. But no, yeah, I was so happy with it, and I was wondering if it was going to be Roofe, because Roofe's just back. I thought, maybe Tav's going to go up and take it, and I would have had the fear if Tav's going to have the fear when Roofe was running up behind it. I was like, oh God. But no, he calmly puts it away, and obviously Rangers then go a bit mental. So I'm delighted with it. It was last
Carney.
5 minutes. Yes, mate.
I was going to say, what I loved as well was the prostinations from McGinn and Porteous when Beaton did give it. It was brilliant just to see them with their screaming, going, "Wah!" It was really good. That cheered me up as well.
As well, mate. See if I wasn't screaming at delight at the fact that we had just got a penalty, you would have heard supporters of another team in Glasgow shouting at their tellies because Rangers just got a penalty. If you'd have stayed quiet enough, but I certainly wasn't quiet enough. But look, it's a penalty. Kent has sold them no matter what, but there's contact and Kent goes down. It's a penalty. It's really as simple as that. There's no way that it isn't. It was good play by Kent and a better finish by Kemar Roofe. So last 5 minutes, as you said, Ali, needing to see out. Lundstrom comes on for Ryan Kent. Almost looks like he was playing at the back, to be honest, just to make sure that they didn't get a chance to score. 5 minutes added on time to make it really, really enjoyable to watch, having to sit for 5 minutes waiting for a whistle. But it finished Hibs 0, Rangers 1. I am very happy at this, Ali.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought when the 5 minutes come up, I was like, where'd they get the 5 minutes from? And Scotia text to say, never they flares that come on. So I was like, fair enough. But to be fair to Rangers, they've seen those 5 minutes out fairly comfortably, if you've got to be honest about it. And the one thing we've done tonight is we've got a clean sheet in the league, which is, Christ, when was the last time that happened? I think it was Dundee, which was Christ knows when. But yeah, it was. It's a massive result tonight for Rangers. I know the game was terrible. It was poor. It was poor in quality. It wasn't great. But if somebody told me at the beginning of the day, you'd go to Easter Road, you would play pretty crap, to be honest, and get a penalty in the last 5 minutes and win the game, I would have taken it out of your hands and grabbed it. It's 3 points. It's another away game that we've now ticked off. That's Livingston, and now Hibs ticked off on this dreaded list, you want to say, in the route to this January break. And it leads us nicely into Saturday, where we welcome Dundee Ibrox, a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, which I will be right up for, and I can't wait. And it now, as Scotia says, it puts pressure on the other half of the city, because I know they're at home tomorrow night, but they've got Hearts coming. But as Scotia says, we are playing the next couple of games the day before them, and I'd rather be in that position than their position. And tonight, it's a fantastic result for Rangers.
Absolutely, Scotia. Sometimes you have to win ugly, and that's what we've done tonight. But I couldn't be happier the fact that we've got out of that game, especially with the way it went, that we've got out of there with 3 points.
Well, we all lived during 9 in a row. How often do we win ugly then? So
quite a lot.
Yes, you just need to win. That's the whole point. Win, and you'll get big shiny things shown at you at the end of the season. Yeah, so delighted with the 3 points. And yeah, as Ali said, we drop points tonight. It just gives them a wee bit more impetus to going out tomorrow night and get the result, and then claw back some points for us. So it's massively important that, like we were doing last season, just keep winning. That'll see us good.
That will see us good. So, Scotia, I'll come back to you. Your man of the match tonight.
This is like the Livy game. I don't know if there's a standout. I don't know.
I'm glad he came here first, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't even note one down. It was a weird game. Who would I give it to? I'll give it to Aribo, because I think, in the first half there was an awful lot of stuff that he was trying that was really good and impressed me. And there was a point very early on in the first half where he rolled about 2 or 3 challenges from the Hibs players and then went forward. He got the pass away, but the pass broke down, or the attack broke down after him. So I'll give it to Aribo, I think.
Fair enough. Ali?
Similar to Scotia, you're kind of scratching around looking for somebody. There was no standouts. There was players that I thought they were decent. Aribo, Kent tried. I thought Tav was decent tonight as well. But if I was hard pushed, I'd give it to Glenn Kamara tonight. I thought Kamara at times was winning challenges and trying to get us going, and I thought he was good tonight, Kamara. So, Glenn Kamara for me.
I suppose it says everything, the fact that I've got somebody else noted down that kind of tells you how the game was, that there's not a particular standout. I'm just going to give it to Kemar Roofe for coming on and scoring the penalty. He's kind of got us out of jail a wee bit, but I don't think there was a standout in the team, to be honest. I would be clutching at straws to try and someone out. The fans were great. The fans were tremendous. Yeah, they were really, really good. So possibly give it to the away support today. But no, I'll give it to Kemar Roofe just for scoring the penalty and for getting us the 3 points. So yeah, it's not a classic. I will not watch this game back, I guarantee you that. But I will certainly watch the penalty back, and I will certainly love reading the comments about how Rangers have another penalty to secure them 3 points. Ali, thank you very much for your time tonight, mate. You can go and try and calm down now.
I know it's not great watching games like that, but to be honest, there was a lot of games last season against. We've played Hibs a lot of times, and it's been 1-0s, and it's been like that in games if you think about it back. So, I'm just delighted with one tonight, and like I say, I'm buzzing for a Saturday 3:00 kick-off at Ibrox. Have a couple of bevies and enjoy myself. And let's Gio.
Let's Gio. Scotia, thanks very much, mate.
Yeah, cheers. As I say, delighted. 6 minutes changed my mood completely. So I'm away to go on Twitter and get the Kerrydale meltdown feed on, because I'm sure there'll be some gems in that this evening. So cheers.
That's exactly what, before I go to my bed, mate, that's exactly what I'll do as well. So yeah, not the most classic of performances, but Rangers have won the game. We've got 3 points. And Gio has got the best possible start to his Rangers manager career. We actually can't ask for any more. Maybe a wee bit better football, but it's early days in terms of Gio, so we just have to be patient. And yeah, this one feels like quite a big win. Quite a big win even. So you can now become a Club Back 22 supporter. You can join the YouTube channel. We have just announced a live show that will be on Friday the 14th of January in the Viceroy. If you become a Club at 22 supporter through the channel, you have early access to the tickets. General sale for the tickets will be Friday at 6 p.m. This Friday coming at 6 p.m. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to donate to the channel, you can buy us a coffee. There is a link underneath that. Thank you to everybody that has, and hopefully we'll see you at the live show. So yeah, that'll do. Shameless plug as always. Please like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We will be back on Friday with some form of preview, one way or another. Not planned that yet. We'll be back on Friday to look ahead to the Dundee game. So massive breath of relief. Kemar Roofe gets us out of jail a wee bit, but I will take it all day long. So we are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast, and I'll speak to you all next time. Cheers.